Democrats claim victory in Pennsylvania, Lamb gets bad news after what happened at ballot box. By Alicia Rich Politics, U.S. News for MadWorldNews.com. The vote was between Democrat Connor Lamb and Republican Rick Saccone. Currently, Lamb is in the lead by just 627 votes, but there are still many absentee and provisional ballots that have not been counted. Of course, Democrats are ignoring these facts and have already claimed victory, and even Lamb himself is celebrating. You see how the Democrats roll? Without the absentee ballots and the ballots, they're already celebrating. They play dirty. That's all they do. Despite the fact that they're in the lead, the official call hasn't been made for a reason. However, Democrats and the mainstream media are desperate for some positive news and will ignore the obvious to make themselves feel better. But should the absentee votes and provisional ballots push the vote in Saccone's favor, they'll have no one to blame for their humiliation but themselves, and that's not their only problem. In fact, things might have just gotten a whole lot worse for the left, and fortunately for them, something isn't adding up with some of the ballot boxes. It is believed that some of them were miscalibrated. In a nutshell, the machines weren't tallying votes correctly and were switching votes from Saccone to Lamb. Now there's a surprise. Wow, really? We're so surprised about this. I say arrest the Democrats, put them away. These people are criminal to the core. I mean, they play so dirty, it's shocking. These counties use touchscreen voting machines, which can be miscalibrated at times, explained NRCC Chief Counsel Chris Winkleman. According to KDKA, and we saw plenty of voters tell us about their attempt to vote for Rick Saccone, and their vote showed up as a Connor Lamb vote, Winkleman added. I would raise, you know what, holy hell in there had that happened.
With our chief political anchor, Bret Baier, who's with me. He's going to be here throughout the hour, of course, host of Special Report. We thought this was going to be a close race, but I don't think anyone had that it was going to be within 100 votes.
No, 95 votes right now separate these two candidates. And you have precincts where the Republican, Saccone, should be doing better. Still 2 precincts out in Washington County that have yet to be counted. You have 95 votes. You have 1,200 absentee ballots in Washington.
In that one county.
In that one county that will not be counted until tomorrow morning, we're told by officials at this hour. And you have about 1,100 in Allegheny County that will be counted within the next 14 minutes. They're already in the computer and they're supposed to be downloaded within the next 14 minutes.
But big picture, and you've been reporting on this, there's somewhere around 6,000 or 7,000 total absentee ballots scanning these counties that we're showing right now. Some we'll see, as you say, in the next 15 minutes or so. But many of these, we expect, will actually be tabulated, counted, and reported out tomorrow. So we are unlikely to know the winner tonight.
Washington and Greene counties are already saying that they can't get the absentee ballots counted tonight, and it will be tomorrow morning. So you're probably going to be in a situation where we're not going to know until tomorrow morning, if we know then. Remember that this is not a statewide race, so it's not an automatic recount, but either campaign can trigger a recount by getting 3 voters in each precinct to sign a form and say, we want a recount.
And if they're willing to pay for it, then the state law basically says there'll be a recount.
Right.
You would expect it with this close, it's likely.
Yes, but here's the other thing, is that this district, as we've been talking about all night, has been redrawn. And if it holds up in the courts, this district will no longer be around by November.
So we're spending millions, they're spending millions and millions of dollars on both sides, and yet this seat is blowing up. We're going to go live in a moment to the district, but I just want to get big picture from you first, Bret, which is, you know, look, this is a fight for not just for a seat, but a fight for a narrative. And you have Democrats talking about a blue wave, and they have something to be said for the fact that Donald Trump carried this district by 20 points in 2016.
Correct.
Plus he added the tax cut and the tariffs, so people have fatter paychecks. And the tariffs were aimed at this district in particular. So even if the Republicans pull it out, it's been a struggle.
It may not be a giant blue wave, but it's definitely more than a ripple.
Oh, they're not telling the whole story. Republicans are already prepared for a recount regarding the polling site issues. We're actively investigating 3 instances and likely to file court action on them. An unnamed Republican source stated, according to the Washington Free Beacon. The same source said that there were many reports of voters who intended to vote for Saccone on the machine who ended up casting a ballot for Lamb instead. In addition to this massive issue with the machine, some people were directed to the wrong polling locations by the Pennsylvania Secretary of State website, and Republican attorneys were ejected from the polling sites, really, as ballots were being counted. You see the crookedness? National Republican Congressional Committee, NRCC, has released a statement regarding the Pennsylvania race. This race is too close to call, and we're ready to ensure that every legal vote is counted. Once they are, we're confident Rick Saccone will be the newest Republican member of Congress. NRCC Communications Director Matt Gorman said, unfortunately, the DNC chairman, Tom Perez, has already claimed Conor Lamb's victory. You know what? Who would even vote for Tom Perez, you know? Despite the fact that there's a large number of outstanding absentee ballots, yeah, those ballots, you got to watch those. You watch them, they're all going to come in. Most of them are Republican votes. And you're going to see, you have to watch those because that's what they're going to try to destroy. That could easily swing the race. I think this race is over, he said, according to Fox News. Mr. Rick Saccone can contest it, but I think it's pretty clear that Conor Lamb is going to be the next member of Congress for the 18th District. You see? You see how dirty they play? An excerpt from Tom Perez's statement regarding the DNC on Conor Lamb's victory also said, even after they poured more than $10 million into a long-standing stronghold, Donald Trump and the GOP still couldn't put an anti-worker candidate, Rick Saccone, in office? You gotta be kidding. You know, they are playing real dirty. While it's possible that Conor Lamb is the rightful winner of this race, there's no reason, especially in a tight race like this, to run a victory lap before anyone actually crosses the finish line. If Democrats want to fight fair, they don't want to fight fair. They've been fighting dirty all this time. They need to at least wait for the right time to start gloating, and that would begin the second the race is actually finished. It's going to be really embarrassing for them if it turns out that the machines were not only miscalibrated in Lamb's favor. That's why arrests should be made for who miscalibrated those machines, you see, in Lamb's favor, but that Saccone was the rightful winner when the rest of the ballots are counted. Of course, they will do everything in their power to ensure that never happens, and bragging before the votes are counted is just one tactic they use to call the results into question should they not get it in their favor. The same thing happened in Alabama. The same thing. Now, we're not hearing anything about Roy Moore, are we? About his alleged abuse of this woman, right? Yeah, because they use that to, you know, sort of cover up why Jones won instead of Roy Moore, you see, and they're doing the same thing here. Who in their right mind would vote Democrat? And first of all, they did say that Trump won in Pennsylvania there. So how do you expect this Lamb guy to be the winner? And then you got Perez out there, another creep, gloating about it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.